That record held now that the
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grand Prix Podcast. I'm Elton, this is Andy.
What? Who's there? What? Get off my lawn, damn kids.
Did I wake you up, or are you just grumpy old man?
Both.
Okay, fair.
It's Grumpy Old Man Podcast, this one is.
Yeah, I think it might be, yeah. All the races have been run, every point has been, that was up for grabs has been scored, and the champagne has lost its fizz. So,
and now we come to the end of the season where we both will go and hibernate for the winter.
Too right, yeah. I'm going to find the nearest rock, crawl under there, and wait for testing to start. Goodbye.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, personally, I'm going to stay indoors where it's warm, with a fire and stuff. But you want to go and sleep under a rock? Mm-hmm. You do you.
I might as well, yeah.
Yeah,
might as well. So yeah, Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I don't know whether to get your thoughts on this or not.
I think you could probably guess my thoughts on this. In fact, I believe I uttered my thoughts largely last week, and they proved to be somewhat prophetic.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I should listen to you more. I really should.
You really should. You know why? Because if you did, you wouldn't have lost. But we'll get to that later.
Up yours, indeed. So, I don't know where to start with this. Well, we said goodbye to Felipe Massa. Felipe Massa.
Again.
We've got Lewis Hamilton.
It did feel like, I will just say, it did feel like he was milking it a little bit.
Who, Hamilton or Massa?
Massa.
Do you reckon it was one race too long?
Possibly, yeah. It was maybe a Barnard too long.
There's a reference that no one's going to get.
That's fine. And we're not going to explain it to them. Those losers, if they don't get it, it was tough. But it was a Barnard too long.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, so okay, he retired last season. Yeah. And he retired twice last season, both at the Brazilian Grand Prix and at the Abu Dhabi one. I mean, he did it all again this year. And this time it was just like, again, all respect to the bloke, but he kind of parks his car out on the grid at the end next to the winners and everything, and it's just like, okay, Felipe, but was this in the plan? Was this you were meant to do?
Didn't seem like it, did it? But I thought it was good that it was them three on the grid at the very end of the race, because you did have the winner of the race, the world champion, and the retiree. So
I don't remember them doing this for Button or Barrichello,
no,
or Schumacher.
No, I think some drivers get lost. This is one thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to qualifying, so I think I might save it for then.
Okay.
So yeah, I think I will. Anyway, between the Brazilian Grand Prix and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, has anything happened?
Oh, of course, so much happened.
Really?
All of the things happened.
Really?
Yeah, well, not really, but stuff happened.
Okay.
Picking up from something that happened last time out, they cancelled the Pirelli test in Brazil over security concerns.
Yes.
So we did we touched upon it last time out that there was incidents in Brazil with people being threatened with guns and stuff like that. So they cancelled a tyre test they were going to do. So that went away. Speaking of tyres, Pirelli have announced new tyres.
Oh, dear.
I don't know if they announced new tyres or they're just showing the new tyres, or
I think they had them on display. It was hinted during the season that there would be new tyres coming out.
And all that, I mean, so basically it's a new tyre either side of the so there's the hyper soft, is it, and the super hard. That sounds wrong, doesn't it?
It's all so wrong.
It's going to be Lewis has gone super hard, and it's just going to sound wrong. We're going to fitsy giggles.
So we got hyper soft, super soft, ultra soft, and soft. Why do we need 4 soft tyres?
I don't know.
Why can't we just balance it around a little bit?
The other thing that kind of is irritating is it's like, well, they only ever bring 2 of the types to the races. It's like, no. If you're going to have 17 million types of tyres, it's a free for all.
I think so.
They should be allowed to just turn up and say, you know what, I'm going to go over medium. But everyone else has gone over hypersoft. I don't care.
Do you know what would be good? If they brought a limited amount of tyres to the race, and the winner gets to choose their tyres first, and so on and so forth. So
the other way round.
Do you reckon?
Well, why not? I mean, otherwise, it's no.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Okay.
So yeah. In order of your constructor standing, the guy at the back gets first dibs, all the way up to who's leading.
So Sauber get to choose the tyres, so they can choose as many softs and ultra softs they want, and
Exactly.
then whatever's left.
By the time you get up to the Mercedes up at the front, it's effectively just a set of cinder blocks.
Yeah. Well, that's something, but
Put it this way, it's no more ridiculous than any of the other fucking rules we've got at the minute.
No, it's true. It's true. It's true. But I'm trying to leave this season on a good note at the moment.
Well, you came to the wrong race to do that now,
I
didn't
did,
you?
yeah, man. Oh, dear. Okay,
Anyway.
so new tyres have been introduced. We've got hyper soft and super hard. So, yeah, looking forward to that. And it sounds like the grades are going to be moved down. So now today's hard will become next year's medium. I think that's what they're doing.
I think it's the other way. I think this year's hard will become the super hard.
Right. Okay.
I think they're trending softer. So they're not they're actually kind of doing two new softer grades of tires, but then they're shifting me. I don't know, one way or the other. Yeah.
But never expect to see the super hard at a race. Never expect to see it. It sounds like it's
you
just
should never
banker.
get super hard at a race.
I've only been to one race. No, it didn't get super hard there. No.
Did you not? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, don't expect to see these at any race because it sounds like these are just a banker just in case something. I don't understand why they've made it in then. If you made a tyre that's not going to turn up, then what are you doing? I don't know.
Who knows?
So many things wrong. There's so many things wrong.
There really are. And let's move on to another one of those, shall we?
Okay.
So a couple of arguments amongst the teams who have to unanimously agree to any rule changes because that seems like a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So Christian Horner wanted to go from. So the rules as they currently stand say that next year you have to get through the entire series on 3 engines, of which no manufacturer has managed this year.
Yep.
So they've not managed to do it on 4 engines this year, and next year they want to go down to 3 engines. And Christian Horner was like, okay, guys, look, this is a bit silly. Why don't we just keep to the 4 engines? And everyone thought it was a good idea, except, drum roll, please,
yep,
for Ferrari, who said, no. We've worked hard to make sure we can get to 3 engines and stuff. And yeah, it's just.
Why can't they just back down? Okay, fine. They've worked hard to get to 3 engines.
Yeah, well, great. All more power to you. But it's like, firstly, I'm almost certain it's going to bite Ferrari in the arse. I guarantee they will take grid penalties next year. And then on the other hand, it's just like, what? I think Christian Horner might have mentioned this. He goes, look, it doesn't save any money anyway, because at the end of the day, they spend so much money in engines running these things on the dyno, trying to get the reliability out of them. It ends up costing them more anyway. So, yeah.
They need a super reliable engine formula for this.
No, they don't need that. They need a cheap engine formula.
Yeah.
That's what they need.
Well, cheap is reliable. It can be reliable as well. Because there's less bits to go wrong.
It can. Well, that's complicated. That's not necessarily the reliability. Anyway, the point is, if it's a cheaper engine, it's not. I mean, the whole reason we have this thing is to keep the costs down, which is bullshit. It's not working anyway.
No, it's not.
and it's like, well, if you have a simple engine, and who cares if you use one every other race? No one, because it doesn't cost as much.
Well, the fans out there don't see them, do they? They don't see the engines.
They don't. And they don't care. The fans just don't care. No one's bloody salivating over the thought of, that engine's made it through 5 races. Oh. I mean, sometimes they say, this is engine 1, that last raced in so-and-so. No one apart from Crofty cares. All respect Crofty, but no one else cares.
Why not have, let's say, 4 engines per season, okay? But if parts go wrong in one, they can Frankenstein that and use it on other parts later on.
I think they already can to a certain extent. I mean, not you can swap out turbo units and things like that.
I know, but all the parts. You've got all the parts there.
Just something else we forgot to mention. Something else we forgot to mention about this Volvo is they got to go 3 engines with 1 extra race.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a stupid rule. Stupid.
Yep.
It's stupid. And so yeah, basically all of the teams were like, yes, this is a good idea, except for Ferrari. And so because Ferrari said no, it's not happening.
Well done, Ferrari.
Well done. And then we had another one where I kind of agree with what's happened, but it still must be frustrating. So the shark fins, which we all fucking hated and have said repeatedly throughout the season, were stupid, with their stupid T-wings on the top, were originally going to be removed. And then all the teams decided, actually, we like having this extra space here for sponsorship. So we want to keep them, which no one uses, but they like having it there. So they wanted to keep it. And all of the teams agreed, except McLaren, who were pointed out, quite rightly so, I will point out, they don't want them there because it blocks the view of the rear wing, which is primo real estate for sponsors.
Right.
And so because McLaren have said no, then they're going. So again, because of one team saying no, that's going. And apparently this has irritated some of the constructors because they'd already kind of finalised that part of the car. Now they have to go back and change it. Sucks to be them.
I wonder if McLaren are getting a sponsor that if the T-wings were still there, half their name would be obscured, and so you'd end up with the sponsorship saying arse.
So it's like arse biscuits.
Yeah. Like the old Top Gear gag where they open the door and it just says arse or tit or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And maybe it says something like that, and it's like, no, we want the whole sponsor there.
I think they raise a good point, because I was looking at this on pictures and stuff on the news afterwards, and yeah, that shark fin does obscure the rear wing from almost any front portion look of the car as it's going by. Even on certain side angles, you can't see the top plane on the rear wing. So I can kind of see that. The obvious retort is, well, why don't you stick the sponsor on the shark fin? But for whatever reason, they're not going to. But again, none of the teams have been using it for sponsorship. So whatever.
No, I think it was just Force India that just happened to, but their sponsorship carries over their whole car anyway. So
exactly, it's all pink anyway. So that was
okay. So shark fins are disappearing along with that horrible T-wing, which is good. That's good stuff.
I'm down with that. I'm all of the down with that.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Found my nose. Gasly and Hartley are confirmed for Toro Rosso for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not exactly anything new. We all knew that was coming.
Yep. There's another test after this race, isn't there?
There is. Williams are going to test Kubica again and then presumably make an announcement if they're going with him or Paul di Resta. But I got to say, at this point, I think if you don't realise at this point if Kubica is right for you or not, then what's the point of having the test? They're just stringing it out for the PR news and stuff.
Do you reckon that? Who do you reckon to get that seat?
Ask Kubica.
Yeah, I think it's all done and dusted. They just need to finalise a couple of things, and like you say, they need to drag it out a little bit as well.
Well, it's especially with Williams then being a publicly traded company and everything. If they're in the news, generating headlines and stuff, it's more attractive to sponsors and things like that. So yeah, I think that's what's going on there with that. Let's see. Alonso's launched his own esports team because
I don't care. Don't care.
Fine. Well, I have other Alonso news.
No. Carry on with it, but I don't care about esports. I cannot get excited about children playing video games. I have enough of that in my house.
Fair enough. But in Alonso's quest to become a champion in every form of motorsport ever known and devised by man, he took part in the Bahrain WEC test for Toyota in an LMP1 car.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's good stuff, isn't it? It is good stuff.
Oh. Yes. I'm more excited about that than I am about this race we're about to talk about. So, yeah. Yeah, he's not. They announced his times. They did say he improved, but they didn't kind of release any official timings and stuff like that. But apparently, he was on it, as it were, as you would expect from Herr Alonso.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I think that is about it of the. I mean, again, there's arguments over the engine rules between Mercedes and Red Bull and Ferrari and everything, whatever. Force India's attempts to rename themselves have failed because cyber squatters are apparently sitting on their preferred web address.
Now, okay. It must have gone through everyone's head, surely, when it was announced.
Pretty much, but, these guys generally, in PR firms and stuff like that, they still think old school ways and everything. Although I'm kind of glad it's not happened because the rumour of what the name they were going with is appalling, and I'm kind of glad it's not happening.
What was the rumour?
So, the rumour was they were going to go with the name Force, which would stand for Formula One Racing and Creative Entertainment or something like that. Engineering, creative engineering. And it's like, do fuck off. Fuck off, you fucking fuck.
Yeah,
so,
that's
by the way, anyone listening to this podcast should realise we do swear a lot. So if that offends you, please disregard the previous segment.
Yeah.
It's just fair play.
Well covered, mate. Well covered.
Yeah, I'm on it. So yeah, I mean that was kind of it for the news in between, I guess.
Good. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna gladly just roll over to free practice if you don't mind.
Well, actually, I think I might be able to save you some time here.
Go on, then.
Free practice, nothing happened.
It did, yeah. Well done.
There you go.
Well, okay, free practice 1, nothing happened. Free practice 2, Ricciardo flipped off Grosjean, which was...
Well, who hasn't flipped off Grosjean?
Yeah, I think he was the last person to. And Bottas in free practice 3 had a broken suspension or failed suspension piece, which left him scrambling around for qualifying, but they repaired it in time, so there was no real drama there anyway. So there we go. Free practice all done and dusted. Easy peasy. Qualifying. Are you ready for qualifying?
Okay, I'm ready for qualifying, yeah.
Okay, Q1. Nothing happened.
No, not really. I mean, obviously cars, were knocked out, but no one we weren't expecting to.
Okay, well, Stroll made it through by the skin of his teeth on the very last... I think he was the last man on track, knocking out Grosjean. Bottas was the fastest by a 300th of a second.
Mm-hmm.
So it was tight between the Mercedes.
Hartley had a 10-place engine penalty for exceeding the quota of his power unit component, which I think is a new record in that he's taken place in 4 Grand Prix and has had an engine penalty for each one.
Yeah, he's doing all right, isn't he? 100% record.
Absolutely. Let's see if he can carry that over into next year.
Yeah.
Since he's got a Honda, that's entirely possible.
Oh, yeah. Let's see how many consecutive races he gets.
I think we've got a new category for next year's points thing. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Okay. Bottas was the fastest. We lost Hartley, Ericsson, Verline, Gasly and Grosjean in Q1. Q2 rolled around. Hulk and Perez were nearly clashing at one point on the pit entry. Hulkenberg ducked in underneath Perez as Perez wanted to go into the pits and scared the bejesus out of him, I do believe the technical term is. Hamilton was the fastest by 800ths of a second. Massa made it across the line and knocked out Alonso. Once again, by the skin of his teeth.
Yes.
So we lost Stroll, Magnussen, Van Dorn, Sainz and Alonso. Sainz had engine problems, so that's why he was quite the way down. So, yeah, bad luck for him there.
You know what I think that is?
Go on.
I think that Renault team have been giving Renault dodgy engines.
I'm
on it. Yeah.
The old Toro Rosso excuse.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Those crafty Renault bastards.
Yeah, they were onto something, weren't they? Anyway, Q3, Bottas, he did put in a real good first lap. Yes. So he set the benchmark, and it wasn't to be topped. No one beat it. Ocon and Bottas were racing at some point on their second time out, which was fun to watch. There was a point where Ocon was told, don't let that Mercedes pass you. And so they were racing down the back straight, which was good to see.
It's the way the engineer said it, though. It sounded like a threat. Yeah. It's like, if you let that fucking Mercedes pass you, you're getting whipped when you get back here.
But it just seems strange. Okay, Bottas, just drop back a little bit. Or Ocon, just let him go. You got half a lap to make up this gap, so it's fine. But I know it is all about grid position. Surely,
Elton, my friend, you've been driving for a number of years, have you not?
I know where you're going with this. Yes.
Have you ever been trying to maybe merge or to join a lane of traffic, and you just think, come on, mate, if you just let me out, traffic will move quicker, and there's no drama, and everyone's happy. But no, I must be ahead of you. I must. It is in my soul. I must be ahead of you. It is in the nature of all men and drivers.
So many times I've been in that position. So many times.
So yeah.
Yeah. So Hamilton couldn't beat the Bottas, so he lined up second. Ricciardo did grab fourth, but he was off track at one point. But nothing was brought up about that at all. Nothing was brought up about that. So track limits, obviously.
Fair, it is possible to go off track at the Abu Dhabi circuit, kind of go through the customs hall at Dubai airport and rejoin before you hit anything.
Yes. Yeah, it's so open, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
It was so open. And this is what I wanted to moan about, because the Bottas drove into the pits, Hamilton drove onto the grid, Sebastian Vettel made third, and he drove onto the grid as well. And did no one get the email or the memo about what they've got to decide what they want to do with the top three?
No, to be fair, in this instance, I will allow it. And the reason I will allow it is Bottas aborted his lap.
I know he aborted his lap, but...
So he aborted his lap and goes into the pits. What do you want him to do? To leave the pits and go all the way around to get the car out there? Or to just stop in the middle of it? I finished my lap now. I'm going to stop here while the session is ongoing.
I like the idea of them pulling up on the grid, but only if all three are there.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that, but I'm just saying I can forgive Bottas for not being there. Because unlike last time where someone just didn't get the memo or forgot or whatever, in this instance, it's because he wasn't running at that time. But which does kind of highlight why it is stupid.
I like the visual appeal of it. What I don't like is the engineers, 30 seconds after they pulled up, they hate it. They need to get all their equipment over the wall now and onto the grid to cool down these cars. And then they just jack them up, wheel them off. And they look crap just being wheeled on them stupid little dolly wheels.
I kind of don't see why they don't just kind of pull them up under the podium and just go and do a top three on the podium.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I would prefer that.
Yeah.
Or just do something different. I don't know. Bring them out. Let them all go into Parc Fermé and then bring them out onto the grid afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll be happy with that.
To be fair, again, though, at least they're trying new stuff and seeing what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is working, but at least they're trying.
I think it can work, but I know there's been one or two races where they have had it's worked perfectly, but it's not working as well as it should do.
It doesn't kind of install the sense of a well-oiled machine.
No, not a bit, not one bit. So they need something that will work and work every single time. It's not effortless. It looks painful sometimes.
Yes.
So they need to abandon it and do something else. But do something else. But do something else. If you get my drift.
Do something. Do something. Do something.
Qualifying. So the top 10 were Valtteri Bottas was first, Lewis Hamilton second, Sebastian Vettel third, Daniel Ricciardo fourth, even though he cheated, Kimi Räikkönen fifth, Max Verstappen sixth, Nico Hülkenberg seventh, Sergio Perez eighth, Esteban Ocon ninth, and Felipe Massa in his very last race, did we ever mention that? 10th.
Yep.
So there you go. So the starting grid, nothing changed for the starting grid.
Well, only one driver had an engine penalty, which was Brendan Hartley.
And he was already at the back. So excellent
Exactly.
stuff. So no position changes. Brilliant.
Beautiful. Love it when a plan comes together.
Oh, it's, don't change the rules, F1. Don't change the rules. So should we talk about the race then?
I suppose we must.
Was it that bad?
Okay, it wasn't the worst in the season, but it just you know what? There was some interesting stuff down in the midfield.
Okay.
I mean, the thing between, would Renault get enough points to pass Toro Rosso? That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when there was a drama with Hulkenberg and all that stuff, and then Sainz as well. So that was entertaining. There was stakes there. But aside from that, the whole thing just kind of felt a bit, unnecessary.
It did. It didn't. There was no passion there at all from anyone, I don't think.
It was like, fine, I suppose we've got to do one more race. And I don't know if you noticed at the beginning, I don't know if it was a problem, but it's like they couldn't get the national anthem to play properly, and everyone was just kind of standing around really awkwardly.
What was that? Yeah, because they threw over to the national anthem, had the planes fly over, and it was really quiet.
And there's nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, oh no, someone is losing their hands tonight because they forgot to hit the record thing,
You fucker. Yeah. Okay. Well, where do we start with this? Because I enjoyed the battle between the Mercedes, which was interesting.
Was it though?
But then again, was it really a battle? I don't know. It just seemed.
Okay. So here's my thing, right? I think this race again underlines the point I've been making for the last season, probably more than anything else. These Formula One cars, are fundamentally flawed.
Yes.
In that, if they are evenly matched when it comes to power, it is impossible to pass.
Yeah.
And I think that was clearly evidence. I don't think anyone would argue that Lewis was not the fastest driver today. He lost, though, because every time he would close up to within half a second of Bottas, and he'd close up to that in like half a lap.
Mm-hmm.
He'd suddenly take out 7/10 and all this. Like he was on it, and he closed right up. But then as soon as he got into that dirty, turbulent air, that was it. Game over.
Yeah.
Just had no answer. On paper, this circuit should be good for overtaking. You got long straights going into sudden hairpin turns and stuff like that, and chicanes.
Mm.
On paper, it should be great. And you did see some good passes further down the field, usually where there was a noticeable power differential. When you saw the Mercedes and the Haas fighting, not the Mercedes, the Williams and the Haas, so the Mercedes engine and everything, or when you saw the Sauber fighting with the Haas. Mm-hmm. And then you had the power differential, and you could see the Sauber could get through on the twisty stuff, and then the Haas would just whiz by on the straights because it had the power advantage, and then it would swap back again. That's interesting. But you have two evenly matched cars, they're just sitting there. It's boring as fuck.
This was, from my recollection, one of the worst Abu Dhabi races we've had. Not because of tactics or anything like that. It just didn't have that sparkle of a season-ending Grand Prix. And there's been plenty of times when the season and the championships have been sewn up before the last race. And this just didn't have any sparkle at all whatsoever. The qualifying was dull, the free practice was dull, and lo and behold, the race was a little dull. There were glimpses, there was some really good stuff. But
there were a couple of I tell you what, so we're kind of working this out as we go along, but let's try something a little bit different here, Elton, yeah?
Yep.
How about this? How about we just go down the finishing order, and if they've got something interesting about the race, we can talk about it then.
Okay.
Because I can't be asked to kind of go what happened at the start. So up at the front end, Bottas and Hamilton, nothing exciting happened there, to be perfectly honest. Bottas got a better start, stayed in the lead. That was it.
There was the possibility of him doing the undercuts type thing, and there wasn't the drama there that you normally get. But I liked when Hamilton was closing up on him, and it was the mid-40s laps, because there was a massive lull in the middle of the race.
Yeah, we've discussed this. We've discussed this before, and the promise of entertaining racing is not the same as entertaining racing.
No, I understand that, and that's what I'm trying to get at. It almost was really bloody good, but it they eased off on it, and then you knew around about lap 49, lap 50, Hamilton's going to try it again just for that late lunge and see what happens. And it was almost there, and it just wasn't there. It just didn't have any sparkle at all.
No, it was just, again, he would close up. I mean, he'd go from 3 seconds to half a second in like a lap.
Yeah.
That was the pace differential he had. But when he did that, he'd have like 2 corners to try something, and then he's got to fall back because his car's overheating and everything. And it's just like, oh, fuck that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Meh. I mean, the most exciting thing that happened all race was the burnouts they did on the straight at the end. That was cool. Fair play, that was cool. But
okay.
Yeah. I forgot Vettel was in this race in third.
Was he actually in this race?
And I think the director forgot as well, because I didn't see him after the start.
No, didn't see him at all.
No.
He was 19 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas at the very end of the race.
Yeah.
So, nowhere near. The Mercedes had the legs on the Ferrari. Had the legs on absolutely everyone, but had the legs on the Ferrari. And the problem was that I think Ferrari had the legs on the Red Bulls as well.
I think so too, because, I mean, Vettel was just... he was comfortably third, but, I mean, big whoop. The only person behind him was Kimi Räikkönen.
Well, the difference between Kimi Räikkönen and Vettel was dramatic, I felt. Vettel was comfortably third, wasn't he?
So here you go. Why is Kimi Räikkönen still in Formula One?
Because he's Kimi Räikkönen.
No, sir. No. If it was Fernando Alonso, I will accept that response. That is an answer which I am fine with. Why is Kimi Räikkönen still in Formula One?
Because Vettel doesn't want anyone else next to him. He doesn't. He's already had the young upstart in the form of Ricciardo turn up and steal his thunder.
I never think of Ricciardo as a young guy, though. I mean, no disrespect to him or anything, but, he always strikes me as, especially when you compare him to, like, Verstappen, he feels like an older guy.
When he turned up, he wasn't the young guy per se, but in experience. Vettel was the 4 times world champion, and Daniel Ricciardo got that seat next to him and kind of showed him up in that last season.
Yeah, but, I mean... I've got to say, I think the longer Kimi stays in Formula One, the more harm it's doing for his reputation. I don't think he cares, but
I don't think his bank balance cares, and
no.
I don't think.
But
he cares.
Surely you reach a point where you can't. There's no way you can't spend any more of this money you're getting.
Oh no, there's always more money to be earned. There's always more zeros you can add.
No, I get that. I'm just saying he's going to reach a point where he can't spend anymore.
I'd say that they'd already reached that point, and yet they still want the money.
I'm just saying his arse is taking up valuable real estate, but we could have an exciting other driver in the Ferrari.
Who? Honestly, who?
What, anyone? Like, contracts be damned? I can stick anyone in that Ferrari?
Yeah, go on then.
Max Verstappen.
Do you think Vettel will have that?
You didn't say that was a requirement. You just said, who do I want to put in that Ferrari?
I know, but
I want to stick Max Verstappen in it.
Okay, now you got Vettel to contend with. Try and squeeze him in there. You've got no chance.
But it would be glorious.
What you want and what you get are 2 totally different things. We both know that. That's never going to happen.
I've had a better idea. Let's bring Mark Webber back.
Oh. I don't think Ferrari would have him, full stop, anyway.
Yeah.
He's too ingrained in Porsche, isn't he?
I suppose so. Yeah, but apparently he's going for the driver job on the Grand Tour.
Did you see that advert that he did for that?
I posted that advert.
Oh, did you post that? Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah. Have you seen the other 2 that they've done?
Yes. 3. There's 3 now. There's 3 other ones.
I've seen
There's 2 stuntmen and the car thief.
Hang on. Sorry, phone in the background.
Was that Kimi Räikkönen having a go about me? Kind of hope it was.
Yeah, it was Kimi on the phone.
Yeah. You got to leave this in now, though, because, we made that jersey.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I've seen the 3 adverts for the Grand Tour. So, why are we talking about Grand Tour? We should be talking about the Grand Prix, but, okay, so Kimi Räikkönen, 4th.
Yeah.
Okay, so Max Verstappen, anything happened with him?
Yeah, he had a difficult weekend. A lot of understeer the entire time, apparently. Just couldn't get it hooked up properly. What
are these rumours that they've taken bits off the suspension then? Because that's
the
what
rumor,
was going
the
around.
rumour is, and these have been going around for a while now. People have been, because the Red Bull has a massive rake on its car.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like its arse is presenting. It's like, please mount me.
Yeah.
It is the look of a Red Bull. So apparently they had to take allegedly had to take some parts off, and that's just really upset both of the cars, but especially Max and how he's getting on with it. So yeah, but no one will confirm this, and the FIA's not said anything. So, and Charlie's usually pretty straight up. If he tells someone to take something off, he'll tell them, well, yeah, I told him to take it off because blah.
Yeah, from what I could get from the commentary was that there was something, and they have to prove it to Charlie that it's legal. And but they've still taken the parts off, so there's a bit of questioning going on there. So maybe they've been running it, it's been questioned, and they're just for safety taking it off until next season, so they can actually watershed that proof.
Probably, yeah. I'm sure it's probably something they're gearing up for next year.
Yeah.
But yeah, Max, pretty meh race.
The Red Bulls were a bit meh anyway, though, weren't they? They just didn't set the world alight at all.
We had that weird thing with Ricciardo kind of clipping the wall.
Yeah.
And then retiring with a hydraulic problem. Apparently, they're saying it might be the hydraulic problem caused the crash in the first place.
Oh.
Which was then he had to retire. And he had the very fun moment when the marshals were calling him over to find out where the neutral button is because they couldn't find it.
Even though it's got a big red circle and N written on it.
Well, he did say to them, look for the big red N on the front of the car, but all they could find was a big red Z.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. So the next bit is probably the only, I'd say, interesting and or controversial bit of the race. And that's Nico Hülkenberg.
Okay.
So Nico Hülkenberg, he finished 6th and secured 6th in the constructors for Red Bull. Not Red Bull, Renault. Sorry.
Well,
Red Bull,
feat,
Renault, but that would have been, well, man, fair play to him. But anyway, so he finished 6th. Got them the 6th place, which is, I think, is worth 10 million in prize money or some shit like that. I don't know. But
yeah, I think it's about 8.5 million he's earned out of that.
Yeah, personally, just for himself.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he passed Perez off the track because Perez locked up in front of him. Hülkenberg decided to go wide off the circuit. And as we've already established, you can go pretty much all the way from Abu Dhabi to Dubai off the circuit and not hit anything. And he rejoined ahead and decided to stay ahead. And rather than being told he had to give the place back, which is what normally happens, he was given a 5-second penalty, which he basically then built a gap and just served his penalty and stayed out ahead. And as we know, impossible to pass equally matched cars here. So he kind of got the position. Now, he wasn't fighting Force India for the position in the constructors standings.
No.
But it does mean they have more prize money for next year. And, their boss was saying, well, it means they'll be potentially more competitive next year, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't even consistent within the race because apparently he passed someone else off the circuit. I think it was Grosjean.
It was Grosjean,
later on.
Yeah.
And then he let Grosjean back through and then passed him again.
Okay, with this situation, because it was going into... Hang on, let me get the corner up. It was turn 8 and turn 9, the chicane in between the two back straights. And they overshot it, him and Perez. Perez was on the inside. He'd taken the centre line of the track, and Hülkenberg was forced around the outside. Perez did I don't know whether he locked up. It sounds like he locked up and then just made it to the edge of the track where Hulkenberg had nowhere to go, and so he thought, sod it, let's just straight line this and take it. And because we've seen in this race, it's very hard to pass, then track position is king, isn't it? So
yes.
I'm surprised he wasn't told by the team just to give the position back. And I don't like the tactics. If they have decided, well, we'll just take a penalty instead, then the penalty needs to be a lot harsher than what it was. But I'm hoping that wasn't their tactics.
I'm just curious as to why the stewards didn't say you have to give a place back. They didn't even give him the option, at least not that we heard. I could understand if he was told he had to give a place back and then he didn't, then they say, fine, you have a time penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't sound like they even told him he had to do that. You have a 5-second penalty.
There was nothing, was there? It just came up as 5 seconds. It wasn't under investigation or anything. It probably was under investigation, but we, as the viewers, weren't told that it was under investigation. Or I don't remember seeing that at all. And so that normally you would get that coming through. And as a viewer, you know where you stand. But I just didn't know what was going on there. Frankly, I think Hulkenberg should have given that place back. Yeah, he probably, I think he had Ocon behind him at the same time, because normally Ocon's around the perimeter of Perez anyway. And so maybe Hulkenberg was worried about losing position to that. Do you know what? Tough shit. You took a place without where you shouldn't have taken the place. So tough.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tough. So, Nico.
All I'm saying is if they implemented my brilliant and patented electronic cut the power if you leave the track limits, wouldn't have had this problem.
It's true. Why don't you just tweet this to F1?
We'll have to get you to do it from the Grand Prix Podcast Twitter account.
Yeah.
At Grand Prix Pod.
And do you know what? I've been tweeting Crofty all the way through. I'm getting. Today I'm a bit fed up with Sky F1 now. I think,
really?
Yeah, I think that shine has come off now.
No.
I know there's nothing else, but the shine is well and truly rubbed off. But I've been tweeting them all year.
I said, I just think the season was one Barnard too long.
Yeah.
And next year is going to be 2 Barnards too long.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just today. Everything was just rubbing me up the wrong way. Yeah.
It's become the Old Man Shouts at Cloud podcast, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Okay, Sergio Perez. Anything happened with him during the race?
Well, apart from the whole Nico Hulkenberg thing,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Perez kind of dropped the ball by letting him get 5 seconds ahead of him after that.
Yeah.
Stay close to the bloke. Then when he serves his penalty, whoop, you passed him.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. But then again, it's management of a car. But then again, if you're managing a car and you've got a faster car behind you, you might be able to keep him back. So once again, I think Nico Hulkenberg should have given that place back.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. Ocon, nothing really of mention. I'm looking through
I think the only thing of note is he didn't collide with his teammate.
Well done there, man. And were they free to race this race? They were, weren't they?
Oh, fuck. No, I don't think so.
No, I thought they were. I thought it was all gloves off, but obviously.
No, I think they would. I think they have there is no racing each other policy.
Okay, Massa gets a final point. No, hang on.
Wait, Alonso, who he got the 4th fastest lap out of that fucking Honda.
I've just been looking at the qualifying, and they pretty much ended up where they started. That's where I was going wrong.
Yeah, but yeah, Alonso had a few interesting, a nice bit of a scrap getting past Massa. There was a fun radio message where they were telling him to watch out for science, and I think Alonso came back and go, well, I'd like more power. I'd like this. I'd like that. I'd like a beach vacation, but we've got what we've got.
Oh, he's still got it.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically that was that. Last race of McLaren Honda. Apparently they had champagne. I don't know if that was like as a thank you to Honda or as a thank fuck we're done with Honda. Either way.
I think, it's a party of two halves, isn't it? It's whatever you want it to be at that moment. And now whether the Honda executives are in the room, then it's congratulations, guys, and let's part on the good terms. And once they've gone out the room, yes, they're gone. We're getting Renault. Bring the French guys in. Excellent. So, yeah, it's whatever you want to make it. So, yeah, it's a solid point-scoring situation for him as well. Massa ended up 10th.
Fair play to him, points in his final race. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, Massa and Alonso, they had a bit of a battle through the race, didn't they?
Yeah, a little bit. Again, we had the Mercedes engine would just let the Williams kind of take it on the straights. So Alonso had to get really close in the twisty stuff, and then DRS passed. And then, of all the race, and I'm finger quoting here, of all the racing we saw, that and the stuff with the Hasses was probably the most entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so now we're going into non-point scorers.
Well, yeah, then the next one up is Grosjean on the Haas. We had some interesting overtaking stuff going on. He was fighting with... Who was he fighting with?
Stroll at the very beginning.
That was it, yeah.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
That was good close racing, that was, because, again, there was a couple of swap backs going on there.
There was a bit, right, I got a little bit confused, because I think Stroll was struggling with certain bits in his car. I swear he was. I know that they were saying that he had no grip at one point, but I think there was something else, because there was a point where he overtook Grosjean, then Grosjean swapped back and overtook Stroll on the same straight. It was as if Stroll did a little orbit of a Haas, like a little moon going around a planet. And it was very weird. I don't know whether it was because of the TV angle or what, but it was good racing. And it was almost clean. It was scruffy, but good. It was entertaining. Yes. Entertaining. And that's what we need at the core, really.
100%.
Yeah.
It would just be nice if we had more of that, from further up.
Yeah, that's right. Stoffel Van Dorn. He was moaning about grip most of the race, wasn't he? Well, not moaning, he was but, yeah.
He was just kind of nowhere, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not greatest season. I think he expected to be doing better, but I guess given the car they've got, chalk it up to experience.
I think this is a learning experience for him. I think it's a good season for him because he's got the crap, hopefully got the crap out the way. He's had his real poor season and it's done. It's gone.
Are you de-reaming him? Are you implying that things can only get better?
Well, what do you reckon with McLaren?
Well, it couldn't have gotten much worse now, could they?
There you go. So, yeah. He was... Nothing really happened. He looked like... Did you see the first lap where everyone looked like they were on ice?
Especially Magnussen.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a second because I think he's the next guy up. But everyone seemed to be on ice and tiptoeing around that first lap.
It's the dust they get down there, though. Because, again, I've been to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
There's a city, there's a road, and then there's a desert.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it.
Yeah.
And so, you get a lot of dust and sand and everything kind of get blown onto the circuit. And, I think, obviously they hadn't... Did they do an F2 race before this?
I'd like to say yes.
But still,
yes, they did.
Nothing clears a track quite as quickly as a Formula One car. And there was a bit of time. So, again, you got a lot of dust and everything kind of blew onto it. So, it would have been like they were on ice.
Yeah. But Stoffel it seemed like he was on ice all day. Just didn't have the grip underneath him.
No.
So, Kevin Magnussen went for a spin.
Oh, yes. He was obviously worried that someone might be behind him. So he thought the best thing to do a quick crazy Ivan, check behind him, make sure it was clear, and then carry on.
He just lost it though, didn't he, in turn 3?
Well, he just lost it. He did a full 360. He did a barrel roll effectively, and then just carried on.
Well, he was pushed wide, I think, by Stroll.
No,
it was someone else, wasn't it?
He dropped it entirely on his own.
No, but in turn 1, he went wide on turn 1, and then it was Stroll. He came very close to Stroll in turn 3. Then he spun around. So obviously he picks up a bit too much dust into turn 1. Going into turn 3, it was just like marbles. So yeah, that was entertaining. But I want more than 30 seconds of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
So after Kevin Magnussen, Pascal Wehrlein. Nothing ready to say.
Look, I'll say this. Pascal Wehrlein, because again, the whole situation at Sauber with Ericsson and Wehrlein, it seemed like Ericsson's their favoured driver because he's brought a big sponsorship deal in.
Yeah.
He is the only, Ericsson this is the only full-time driver who has scored 0 points this season.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, Gasly and Hartley have scored 0, but they've only been racing for like 2 races apiece or whatever.
Yeah.
Ericsson, across 20 races, scored 0 points. All of Sauber's points this year have come from Wehrlein.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's going to be out of a drive next year, and that's a bit of a shame.
And he missed the first 2 races of the season anyway, didn't he?
Exactly. So, I'll just say we had some good fighting from Wehrlein. He was pretty impressive, to be honest. Fighting against... Because he was the one fighting against Magnussen there. You have the 2015 Ferrari engine up against the 2017 one or whatever it was.
That's right.
And I will doff my cap to Wehrlein. He got everything that car could give it.
Yeah, fair play. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay.
Then we got the 2 Toro Rossos.
Yep.
Hartley and Gasly. Mainly because Gasly spun at some point. I think while fighting with Van Dorn. Or chasing Van Dorn or whatever.
Yeah, I think he was chasing him. I don't think anyone was around. I think he just spun on his own, and it was near the pit entrance, wasn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, to be perfectly honest, I have nothing really to say about it. I mean, what's his name? Frank Tost is still convinced Renault sabotaged him. I think personally it's more to do with the fact that your development budget's not what it is. The Renault engine's not the strongest, to be fair. And you've got 2 rookie drivers in your car.
Yeah,
that's why you lost 6, mate.
Once again, I don't think it helps having different drivers swapping around in machinery because you get different styles. You bed an engine in with a driver and then swapping that over for a different driver. Just no. Doesn't. Well,
I think there's that, but I think he was still sore about losing Sainz. I don't think it was his. The whole Sainz thing came from up on high.
Well, yeah, it was Sainz pushing for it as well, wasn't it?
Well, Sainz pushing for it, but the decree came from helmet marker or something like that. It came from up on high, and I think he was sore about that. And when Renault, I just think, look, for what it's worth, I don't think Renault did anything untoward to Toro Rosso. I don't see how they could do anything like that. Sucks for Toro Rosso, but to be perfectly honest, they had a stronger start. Their car was mighty at the beginning of the season. And I think a combination of Danny Kvyat and just underdevelopment just kind of spelt their doom.
Yeah. Do you honestly think that Renault want the shitstorm that they had when Nelson Piquet crashed purposely?
Oh, fuck no.
No, so I don't think Renault would do anything untoward like that. I think it's just... If this had happened at the start of the season and they got off to a bad start and then slowly clawed it back and hadn't quite made it, this sort of thing wouldn't have happened. It's just because it happened at the last couple of races. It all happened towards Toro Rosso and they felt their backs against the wall a little bit. And, sometimes it just happens that way. I don't think Renault were untoward at all.
Nah.
No.
Not at all. Marcus Ericsson, we've already spoken about a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. Lance Stroll, don't really know what happened with him today. He just was nowhere.
He was locking up quite a lot, wasn't he? He had that battle, but then he was also locking up and then losing oodles amounts of time recovering the lockup. And he had a fair few of them. So I felt maybe he just didn't suit this track.
Maybe. Again, we do forget it is his first season. And to be fair, the first half of the season was less than impressive. Just had to do better, mate.
Yeah.
And the only other person to mention is Carlos Sainz Jr.
This was interesting.
Who left the pits with 3 wheels on his wagon. And if you watch the replay, they don't even make any attempt to bolt that wheel on. I don't know if he was released before they had a chance or what, but the wheel goes on and they don't even bring the gun up to it. It's not like it didn't seat or anything. Just off he goes.
So maybe the gunner went to pick up a spare gun, and by the time he'd picked it up, the car was gone?
Possibly. I mean, they usually have to visually... There's a button or something on the guns to signal that they're ready, and you usually have one of them raise a hand or whatever. But yeah, made a mistake. The thing is, you can kind of see straight away the wheel's not on properly as he's pulling away from his pit box. If he'd realised and just stopped there, they could have just wheeled him back, bolted it on, and off he'd go. But because he made it into the tunnel, there's nowhere to pull off there.
No.
And once you're out on the circuit, then you have to stop. You're not allowed to do what they used to be able to do, which is to try and get yourself around and get back to the pits with 3 wheels on your wagon.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that anymore, are you? You're driving an unsafe car.
Exactly, you have to stop.
And then wheel catches, they're just there just to catch the wheel in case this happens.
Yeah, and the team will get a fine, and apparently he might even get a penalty for next season. We don't know yet. We'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a shame that it had to happen. It could have been catastrophic. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. I've got that just in front of you as well, so that's good. I knew the word. It could have been catastrophic for him and for the team, but luckily enough, from a point of view of Renault, that it didn't really make much odds in the point situation.
Yeah.
And the first person out was Daniel Ricciardo, but we've already mentioned him, so that's it. That's the race.
There you go. That's the race.
Anything that we haven't really missed anything, really, have we?
Nah, to be perfectly honest, fuck all happened. That's why.
Okay, well, there's your finishing positions. Do we talk about the logo now, or do we talk about that after the constructors and drivers standings?
Let's do constructors and drivers standings first.
Okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to do drivers or constructors? Because we're doing the whole lot.
We're doing a whole lot, are we?
Yeah, from the bottom to the top.
I'll do drivers then.
Good man. Okay, right. Can I do constructors first then?
Yeah, get out of the way. Okay,
out of the 10 constructors we have, in 10th position we have Sauber with 5 points. Ninth is McLaren with 30 points. 8th, Haas with 47 points. 7th, we have Toro Rosso with 53 points. 6th position, we have Renault with 57 points. 5th, we have Williams with 83 points. 4th, Force India with 187 points. 3rd, Red Bull with 368 points. Ferrari are 2nd with 522 points. And the Constructors' Champions for this season, for 2017, is Mercedes with 668 points. So, the drivers.
Okay, this gets a bit confusing because we have 23 drivers listed.
I've got 25.
You have 25, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, the list I was looking at. Oh, I know it. I will go to the list that you're using then. Haha. Okay, 25. So, uncategorized, but I will read them out because they're still listed. At 25 is Paul de Resta with nil point. At 24 with nil point is Jenson Button. At 23 is Brendan Hartley with nil point. Antonio Giovinazzi with 0 points is at 22nd. 21 is Pierre Gasly with 0 points. Marcus Ericsson at 20 with 0 points. Daniel Kvyat with 5 points is 19. Pascal Wehrlein, 18th with 5 points. Julien Palmer with 8 points is 17th. 16th is Stoffel Van Dorn with 13. Then we have Fernando Alonso, 15th with 17 points. Kevin Magnussen is 14th with 19 points. Romain Grosjean is 13th with 28 points. Lance Stroll is 12th with 40 points. Felipe Massa is 11th with 43 points. Nico Hülkenberg, also on 43 points, is 10th. 9th is Carlos Sainz Jr. with 54. Esteban Ocon is 8th with 87. Sergio Perez is 7 with 100. Max Verstappen is 6 with 168 points. Daniel Ricciardo slips down to 5th place at the last race with 200 points. Kimi Räikkönen is 4th with 205 points. Vitaly Bottas is 3rd with 305. And then 2nd is Sebastian Vettel with 317. And the Drivers' World Champion with 363 points is Nico Rosberg. No, I'm lying. It's Lewis Hamilton. I got you there, Bo. I got you.
Okay, so in your list of 23, who is you missing?
It wasn't listing Jenson Button or Paul di Resta.
The two Brits.
Because they were replacement drivers, not registered stand-in drivers. They were last-minute additions sort of things.
Okay, fair enough. That sounds good. So, on the podium that we had, which was kind of dull, we had the introduction of the new F1 logo.
If that's the video they're going to play at the beginning of every race, I'm not going to bother showing up until the flag drops. Fuck that noise.
I don't think it will be. I personally, did you think that we needed a change? We've had this F1 logo since 1994.
Yeah, I didn't realise it'd been quite that long, to be honest.
Yeah.
Look, I don't think it needed a change, but yeah, whatever. I don't care. Of all the options I saw, this was the least offensive, which, to be fair, was probably intentional on their part. They were leaking out the rejected logos. So we'd all go, oh, these are all terrible. And then when we saw the one, we go, it's not too bad.
Well, yeah, this was one of the ones that were leaked, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's fine.
I think it's fine. The least offensive. This just screams of new management. That's all it does to me. Any firm that I've been in, when they've had new management, they've changed the logo of the company that I've worked for. And because that's the thing that they think brings a breath of fresh air. And it's also a nice little bookmark for them. But I think there's fundamentally massive things that they need to change before the logo. But if they feel comfortable in doing that and then going forward and then from then on their brand is this, that's fine. Just go with it. I don't think it needed a change.
To be fair, I don't think it needed a change, and I get all that, but I can understand why they did this first, effectively. Because it's a statement of intent, and it does mean all the changes which take place now are under this branding are identifiable as their changes.
Yeah.
Whereas with the old logo and everything else like that, there's always that whole kind of, did Bernie do this or did we, there could be confusion there. Plus, they state it's because they want to make a bigger presence in the digital world. And apparently the old logo is difficult to, translate digitally on like smaller devices and things like that, Famicons and stuff. So, whatever. Okay, the logo didn't need to be changed, but the only thing which we needed less from the logo is everyone bitching about it. It's done. Yeah. And no amount of bitching is going to change it. As soon as it was posted on Twitter, there was hashtag not my logo trending. It's like, dude, get up. This is your logo. You get over it. What are you going to do? Boycott the races? Yeah, no, you're not.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to lump it. Once again, I don't think it needed to change, but I didn't realise it'd been since '94 since they last changed it. So it's had a good run. It's had a good run.
The year's 1994. Michael Schumacher was world champion in a Benetton.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's had a good run, and so it's time to move on. Okay, the logo is now changed for Okay, let's move on.
Wait. Does this mean we've got to change our logo?
No, because we're not allowed to use anything branded of their stuff.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, because
just checking.
There have been other podcasts where they've used their stuff. And yeah, no, I'm not even go down that slippery road. No way, man. No way. So no, we're still good. We're still good.
Okay.
We're still good. Right. Okay. So should we get into the predictions that we had from the race prior?
Yes. So you can tell me on which step of the podium Alonso stood.
So qualifying. Well, before I ask your opinions on this, do you remember who you went for?
All I remember is there was a promise of, I think, 9 points if Alonso got a podium.
Well, it was. I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so you predicted Ricciardo for pole position. Which was
that was not a wise choice.
That was a big no-no. I went with Hamilton because, he's the safe bet.
He is.
He is the safe bet. And God damn it, he didn't pull it out the hat. So no points for me for that either. Well done. Thank you very much, Hamilton. For the race, who was the race won by? Bottas.
Neither of us got Bottas. I know that much.
No, you went with Hamilton. So that's a no-no. I went with Verstappen. So that's even worse than your Hamilton.
Yeah.
So once again,
but you know what? There's no points for being close.
No.
So yeah,
not this time around. Anyway, the fastest lap. Who did get that? Oh, the Bottas got the fastest lap as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. So there's no points for that either.
No, you went with Hamilton. I went with Verstappen. I was going to go with Alonso, but you said no, rub that out. Go with someone else. So I did.
And the worst thing was, towards the end, he tried to go for the fastest lap. And I was sitting there going, you're going to be pissed at me if he gets it.
Well, yeah, but you did turn around and say Alonso either on the step or fastest lap, and I get 9 points for that. And so that's why I was encouraging him via the media of Twitter to I'm sure he's got his Twitter on as he's driving around. So, I was kind of hoping for them 9 points, but no, I don't think it would have made any difference. So we both leave this race once again with no points.
Yeah.
What an anticlimax. So the last two races, both of us...
It's actually quite fitting for this race.
Yeah. So the final standings. In second place with 18 points is Elton McManus. In first place, and 2017's champion of the world is Andy Plastides with 24 points.
Hey, loser. It's going to be really awkward doing the rest of the cast holding my finger and thumb in an L shape on my forehead.
You carry on, mate. You carry on.
Okay, I would.
So that's it. 2017 season over, done, and in the record books.
Yes.
What did you think of the season? I'm going to ask you about highlights, but what did you think of the season overall?
I enjoyed it overall. I think it was entertaining having, multiple drivers in different teams in it, in the hunt. I like the cars for the most part. I like the look of the cars. Yeah, let's qualify that. I like the look of the cars. The wider wheels, that's kind of nice, but kind of more aggressive feel. I'm down with that. And I kind of like the direction Liberty is trying to steer the ship. Mm-hmm. It's not there yet, but yeah. I don't think it will go down as an all-time great season. But yeah, it's all right.
Okay. Personally, once again, it's all right season. I think it lost a lot after the mid-season break.
Yes, no, I agree with that.
We had the championship in itself, not going for favourite drivers or anything like that, but the actual championship battle was really good up until the mid-season break. When they came back, there was a spate. Ferrari lost it. I think even in the long term, I don't think Ferrari would have won it. And you imagine them limping home in third and fourth today with the championship to be wrapped up, and they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have done it. So I don't think Ferrari would have been there anyway. I still think Hamilton and Mercedes would have won the championship, but they did screw up their own themselves. They've only got themselves to blame for this, and like you said, it's not going to go down as the best season. It's definitely not the worst season. I've had quite enjoyable races. There was one stonking race this season.
I think the Baku race is in contention for the best race this decade.
It's a classic. I think it's gone down as a classic race.
Yes.
No other races from this season can even go anywhere near that. No. But okay, well, that's my opinion on the season. It was a bit of a whimper towards the end, which is a bit disappointing. But I'm still looking forward to next season. I'm looking forward to doing this. So, Have you got one standout highlight that sums up either the whole season, how you feel about it, or one moment, or one race, or what?
Okay, so I will say, for me, the standout race, and I'm sure it's the same for you, is the Baku race. Mm-hmm. Because I went into that expecting it to be shit.
Yes.
Like, I was expecting that race to be the most boring, dull, processional waste of time ever. And it was just so utterly, immensely entertaining. I had so much fun with that race. It was just like, this is what Formula One needs to be. And so I was on board with that. The other moment I will say, just from the drama, would be the start of the Singapore race, where the one thing that, again, it was kind of like, it was going to keep the championship alive. It was going to gift, Lewis was nowhere. Mercedes just wasn't working well. You had the two Ferraris and Verstappen ahead of him, and logic says this should just be a straightforward. He's going to finish fourth at best. And then that first corner, and it all goes to pot. That was just as a moment of like, well, did not see that coming.
Yeah, I think in years to come, when I look back on this season, 2017, it'll be Kimi Räikkönen with no wheels on his car heading towards the first corner with Alonso just going doop 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 doop. Oh look, I'm in third place. Yeah, in your face, losers, and yeah, just totally being collected. Yeah, that is the picturesque. That is what I would have on the box of 2017. As you say, Baku was the best race, largely because we didn't expect it to be any good whatsoever, and it turned out to be a flipping stonking race. So yeah, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's it. That's it for the season.
That is it. Shall we reconvene maybe sometime over Christmas and do a recap thing?
Well, are we going to do a recap, or okay, listeners? By the way, this is just us shooting the shit at the moment now.
This is a production meeting.
Yeah.
Just be quiet for a second while we talk.
So, what are we going to do? Because I quite like the liveries episode that we did, and
that was good. I like that. When they
rounded everything up in that, didn't we?
We did. So shall we wait until the testing kind of? No, before the testing, but when they've unveiled the cars, which might be the first day of testing because some of them don't get released until then.
Yeah. All right, we'll do another liveries /test/ drivers thing.
Looking forward to the season ahead thing.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that at some point. So that would be during started testing, during testing.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Unless we have some dramatic, massively important thing or news happen, in which case you'll suddenly get a podcast pop up in your feed, and you'll be like, I wasn't expecting to hear from these guys, and yet there is a podcast.
Like Nico Rosberg quitting.
Exactly. If something like that happens, so if Lewis Hamilton turns around, in November and says, I'm quitting, we'll do something for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. But yeah, just expect a liveries season review, preview, etc., and then we'll be on to Australia, I think.
Excellent.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, right, well that's it then. Yay!
That is. Yay!
What do we do now?
I don't know.
Where can these lovely listeners, because I would totally encourage them to go elsewhere, find other podcasts, because look, you're clever enough to find a podcast, you're clever enough to download it, and you're clever enough to actually be our podcast as well. And you've made it this far.
Put it this way. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, we kind of got to close the shutters now.
Yeah.
So where can they find you elsewhere on the internet?
I can't. I'm done. I'm done podcasting now. I've got no more out there. I foolishly timed all my podcasts to end at the same time.
Oh man! So Space Doc is no more.
Well, I occasionally do the not Space Docs, and I want to do one with you about time travel at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, look. Put it this way, yeah. If you just go to RogueTwoMedia.com, if I do anything, odds are it's going to be fair, and you can find me through that stuff, or you can find me on Facebook, on Twitter at Andy3E. I'm around. You're grown ups. You know how to use Google. Just keep your eye on the feeds and stuff like that.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I have faith.
They can also find you on the Band of Brothers podcast as well, which technically hasn't finished just yet, but this week will finish.
Only because someone's been lax in uploading the last episode.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's been sat on my computer. I've been looking at it all weekend, and I've just been. I'll do that later. It'll finish later. So yeah, Band of Brothers podcast, which is on RogueTwoMedia.com. That's with me and Andy talking about Band of Brothers podcast. Well, Band of Brothers show, not the podcast, because the podcast is the podcast.
It would be weird doing a podcast talking about a podcast. It's a bit meta.
Yeah, that's a bit too deep. Even I wouldn't do that. Yeah, even I wouldn't do that. You can catch me on shonkilab.com. You can also catch me on the blackdogpodcast.com, which is a film review show. So if you like films, I'm sure you do, please pop over there, check it out, give them a bit of love. You can catch, as you're well aware, you can catch this on iTunes. We're always up for recommendations and reviews and ratings on there, on anywhere else that you use your podcasts to be caught by. So please pop along to anywhere that you do that. Give us a review. Follow me on Twitter. I'm Elton McManus. Andy is, as he's already said, Andy3E. And Grand Prix Pod is the Twitter for this podcast. And yeah, we have a website, grandprixpodcast.com. It's got all the links on there, so I didn't really need to say all this stuff. Thank you to everyone who has downloaded this, who has reviewed this, who has donated to the site as well. It keeps all the lights on, and it's doing marvellously well at the moment. So thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you in 2018. So until then, thank you very much, and goodbye.
Ta-ra.
Especially if October just got a problem because 2.8 has become 1.9 in the space of a lap. So that's going to happen, isn't it?